Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's HopeCast. Today is Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. I'm your host, David Lapp. Today I want to talk about ending world hunger. What do we mean by world hunger? Is it even possible? Just share some of my thoughts around hunger issues, around... just want to share some of what I see with that, and welcome your feedback, welcome your comments. Bible verse for today is out of Matthew 19:26. It says, "But Jesus looked at them and said, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." I understand that he wasn't talking about world hunger. There was another instance that he was talking about. But I also understand that the statement that he made there, with God all things are possible, is what I want to connect with here. So, is ending world hunger possible? I believe it is, but it's going to take a collaborative effort, a lot of different angles that are going to need to be addressed, and we can do what we can, and we'll see what God does with that. Just some of the statistics about food waste, some of the opportunities that we're seeing currently, according to our research. 24% of everything that's landfill waste in the U.S. is food waste. And if we take that product that's already being produced and utilize it, I believe we can have an impact on world hunger. 50 million people are what's considered food insecure in America. 40 million tons of food is wasted annually. And what we're seeing is if we can take this product that's already being produced and utilize it, we can have an impact on world hunger. I understand world hunger is much bigger than just U.S. I'm sharing U.S. stats here. According to USDA website, 30 to 40% of all food produced in America is wasted. And taking that excess product, there's multiple sites that talk about global food waste, and I've seen the statistics as low as 35% of the global food waste would end world hunger, up to 50% on the high side. So even if we go with a 50% number, where if we could take half of the global food waste, we can still waste half of what we do, but the other half would take care of world hunger. Now, world hunger it's not that big of a deal. It's only, a couple $100 billion a year issue, but I believe we have the resources that we need to take care of that. And some of the ways we're doing it here at Blessings of Hope is through food dehydration, through utilizing the distribution model of being able to take large volumes of food. And I know there's other organizations that are working on things. There's also going to need to be an effort on the political side of things. I know there's a lot of politics in food insecurity. There's a lot of money that's being made by some of these countries importing food, and then it sits at the ports until certain taxes are paid. Which I can understand food coming into an area where they want to make sure they understand what's coming in, but there's also something about in a dire situation where you're shooting yourself in the foot by not allowing aid to come in. But then there's another angle of that same piece is, if there's a local economy and aid comes into a local economy and shuts down for example, I've heard a story of a small family farm in one of the third world countries where they were producing eggs. And they had a family business going of producing eggs, selling eggs, and a large nonprofit came in and flooded the market with an egg giveaway. Put the family business out of business because nobody was buying his eggs anymore. And in over the course of a few months or weeks, nobody had eggs. So those types of situations we want to be very, very sure that we don't create, where we're not creating a problem that is bigger than the current problem. There's a few books out on that. One is When Giving Hurts. there's multiple books out about that talk about how philanthropic efforts can actually hinder a sustainable world hunger relief effort. When we talk about world hunger, it's an estimated that 1 in 6 people in the world suffer from food insecurity. Food insecurity is another word that we've had people ask, what do you mean by food insecurity? According to the study done by, I think it was Opportunity Research or something like that, I'd have to double check where I found this, but it was their metrics of food insecurity are people that consume less than 1,800 calories a day. And according to statistics, according to research, 2,100 calories a day is what you need to sustain long-term healthy life. So if you're under the 1,800 calories a day for more than a year is when you fall into what's considered food insecure category. There's a huge population that lives on less than $1.25 a day. There's more than 1 billion people, or more than 1 billion people in the world that live on less than $1.25 a day. And the average American spends $7,000-8,000 a year on food alone. And if you think about $1.25 a day, you're $4 or $5 a week. No, I guess it would be $9 a week. And taking that to sustain life is a bit of a challenge. So as we think about ending world hunger, yes, you can use food, you can use resources like that, but education is another big piece of that, and helping people to understand that you can make a difference even if it's in a small way. If everybody would have the mindset of helping each other out versus the mindset of doing what they can for their own needs, I believe we could have a better society that we live in. Some of what we're doing here at Blessings of Hope is our food dehydration efforts. Very interesting just to see the how certain products dehydrate, and then we're also getting into some nutritional testing with figuring out meal packets with that, meal blends. So as we get into that, it's going to be very interesting just to see what comes out of that. But there's a huge need also for education, for helping people understand that if something is coming to let's say fresh vegetables, for example, if they're coming to the point where they're going to rot if you don't do something with them, if you can take that product and you can freeze it, you can dehydrate it, you can can it. There's different ways you can take that product and preserve it and give it a longer life, where you can use that down the road, where you don't just have to throw it out because it's hit a certain point of ripeness. Also, I think I've shared on this before, but expiration dates. There's your use by, your best by, your sell by, your freeze by, your whatever all else out there, and nobody knows what they mean. There's so much confusion around expiration dates, and I have not researched this directly, but I've heard that the idea of expiration dates came from a marketing team, and the idea was to encourage people to keep product moving, and they have successfully done a tremendous job in confusing everybody in America, or at least a lot of people, what expiration dates mean. So, if you think about a best by date, that is the manufacturer guarantees 100% freshness of that product up to that date. So if you go beyond that date, let's say you're a week after that date, the manufacturer just doesn't guarantee 100% freshness anymore. It might only be 99.5% fresh, but it's not a trash product because it hit that expiration date. personally, the way I look at it is if something, for my own life, if something looks good, smells good, tastes good, I don't have a problem consuming that. Even if the expiration date is, a few weeks, a few months out, I go more by what the product is telling me than by what the date on the can is telling me. So there's, do your own research on it, do your own, educate yourself on what's out there. But there is a lot of information online about, ways to preserve food, ways to utilize more of what you have, and even, rather than throwing something out, if you can find somebody that would utilize it, there's so many opportunities to be a blessing in the process, where we don't just have to throw something out because we can't use it ourselves. So yeah, Blessings of Hope, with the food dehydration, we're looking at being able to take large volumes of fresh produce, give it a shelf-stable life, and use that for international outreach. There's a company in Canada called Gleaners that is currently doing what we want to do with dehydration, and they're willing to share their recipes, willing to share their knowledge with us, which is very helpful. But in the meantime, our team is doing a great job of just doing small-scale research and development. Just figuring out how long does it take different products to dry, what's the nutritional content of that product after it's dried, and some of that kind of stuff. So it's an interesting process. So the statistics that I was sharing earlier on, with the 30 to 40%, of food produced in America is wasted. That's a USDA statistic. I mean, these numbers are out there. I encourage you to do your own research, and I was shocked when I started, finding some of these numbers, and based on what we're seeing, the need, the opportunity of food waste is greater than the need for food insecurity on the other side. So in other words, if we could take over half of the food waste in the world, it would take care of world hunger. And we're looking at product that's already being produced. We're not looking at adding more product. We're not looking at raising more food. We're looking at the product that's already being produced, that is currently ending up in landfills, in compost piles, in animal feed, in different waste streams, taking that product and utilizing it for the people that need it rather than see it being wasted. And if we can take that product and use that to impact people's lives around the world, we believe we can have a greater impact than if we just turn the other way and let these people literally die from starvation. Quote for today is from Mother Teresa. It says, if you can't feed 100 people, feed just one. And as I was thinking about that, there's always somebody that you can impact. And everybody can do something. And you can think that this problem looks overwhelming, that it's not even worth getting started. But if you can impact one person and they impact one person, or you impact 5 people and they each impact one person, and the multiplication that goes with that is astronomical. There's so much opportunity to do what you can and let God do the rest, and let other people help in the process. Because you might not be able to feed everybody, but if you can touch one person with nutrition, with the gospel, with the love of Jesus, and with hope, you never know what that one person's going to do. And there's so much talent. There's so much talent being wasted because nobody believes in people. And if you can help people to utilize who God called them to be, there's a tremendous opportunity here to make an impact. And So back to the question, is ending world hunger possible? I believe it is. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of people working together. It's going to take political agendas to be laid aside for the good of the people. It's also going to take a strategic plan on, we want to make sure that we don't just become the next handout that people become dependent on. So it can be education. It can be education on growing crops. It can be education on sustainability, which is a piece of ending world hunger. But currently, I believe there's enough resources to take care of world hunger that are being wasted. And beyond just being the next handout, I believe we also need to look at the angle of education and empowering people to take care of their own needs. So yeah, I would love to hear any feedback. You can comment on the video. You can go to our website, blessingsofhope.com, on the About Us page, and there's a form you can fill out, send in any feedback you have on this, any comments, any questions. Be happy to answer them, to address them. If you want a direct response, be sure to leave your email address or phone number on the form, and somebody will try to answer that directly to you. Love your feedback as well on that I can address on future episodes of the HopeCast. If there's anything that you have questions on or you want me to talk about, leave a comment on our online form on our website, and yeah, I'd be happy to dig into this more. Thank you for joining me today on HopeCast. I'm David Lapp, your host and also the CEO of Blessings of Hope. To learn more about Blessings of Hope and how we serve the community, you can check out our website, blessingsofhope.com. God bless you, and remember, you can bring hope to the people that you meet every day.